June of 2015, I found a lump in my groin and tried a couple rounds of antibiotics because my doctor thought it was just an irritated lymph node. And when the antibiotics didn't work, they sent me to a general surgeon. General surgeon thought it was something to be worried about, so they took it out. And when they did, that's when they discovered that I had Hodgkin's lymphoma. I was stage 3B, which means that you have it in multiple locations. So we thought the largest lymph node was taken out. We were wrong. I had a larger grouping of cells by my kidneys that were, it was larger than the ones in my groin. So I had those spots, and then I also had some under both arms. One of the big things when we found out that I had cancer was telling the kids. I knew that when I told them, they were gonna freak out a little bit because mom doesn't get sick, no mom gets sick. We're, the big tough guy. So initially they did. They're like, oh, mom's gonna die. And after a while, realized, okay, maybe not. But the big thing that I wanted was to stick as close to my routine as I could. So, my son plays baseball. Well, he always played fall baseball, and they both play basketball. And so that was the big thing. My husband wanted us to skip those this year because it does take a lot. We run them to practices and to the games and everything. And I said, no, we're going to do this. So I didn't miss, I think I only missed one game all of baseball season. And I didn't miss any of the basketball games. And there were a lot of days where I was bundled up in like 4 or 5 blankets. But the point was that I was there. And that was one of the things that helped me get through this, because I was still a normal, everyday person. Everybody treats cancer patients like they're somebody different as soon as they're diagnosed. Like the minute somebody finds out you have cancer, it's like the soft white gloves come out and they have to handle you like a precious little egg or something, and that's not the case. You're still the same person, and you just want to be treated like you would every other day of the week, because I just wanted to be as normal as I could be through this whole process. Yes, I was an employee at St. Francis when this all started, and we had already been through what was the Team 1 campaign for that year. I was not a donor to that because I didn't understand what those funds were or what any of that meant. I didn't know where that would go. Now I do. I understand. And, I was lucky. I had a great team. But there's a lot of these patients that don't have that. There was a younger guy that was on the same treatment program that I was on. He never had anybody with him. It was just him. He didn't have a support system. I had my husband and my mom and my cheer squad. I had those things. There's a lot of these patients that don't. And when you think about the cancer bags that we give out, those are things that I was fortunate to have for myself, but there's a lot of them that don't. And you freeze when you're going through these treatments. You're so cold when they start pumping those drugs through you. So that blanket, that's heartfelt. That's better than the hospital blanket that just came out of the warmer. Don't get me wrong, those warm blankets are nice. But that nice, cozy, soft feeling blanket that you have that you wouldn't have otherwise had, that's a comfort. And when you're going through this, every comfort counts. If I could say anything to the nurses and the providers, is just keep that mentality that these are just the same people that you would see out on the street. Treat them like you treated me, which was amazing. The care and the love that I got here is what made a big difference in my treatment process, and the fact that I was able to overcome what I had to go through. That came from all of the colleagues here at St. Francis, and not just the nurses and providers. If it hadn't been for the pharmacy staff that, were constantly cheering me on to get through this. Stacy and Michelle and Denitra were amazing every time I was in here, and did everything in their power to make sure that the treatments went smooth, and that if I needed something, I had it. The providers are amazing. They go above and beyond looking for clinical trials or other options so that it's not so bad for their patients. And they get just as excited when their patients beat this as the patients do. Just the smile. Just acknowledging that, yeah, it sucks. There's no negating that, but we can get through that day. You can get through that treatment. You can get through the scan or, the radiation appointment. You can do all of that. And they're there and they're going to make it happen.